Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Alonda and this has been a hell of a week. Kid you not, I recorded yesterday and for some apparent reason I cannot find my intro. So we are doing this again. And technically this is my fourth intro in the last 5 minutes. So I'm Alonda. I'm a 49-year-old mother, teacher, and I'm on a GLP-1 weight loss journey. I am going to stop talking now and cut to the intro before something else happens. I'd like to thank Mochi Health for sponsoring today's video. For anyone who's new, I'm 49, I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, and I am on a weight loss journey. I'm also on a life discovery to figure out who I am, and what I plan to be in the future moving forward. So tomorrow morning, I'll take my compound trizepatide, but next week I'll be switching back over to the pen. Well, I say the pen, it's the injectable. I guess now there is like a pen, all kinds of new stuff. But I play between both name brand and compound. That's Lucy. I do play in between both. It just depends on what's going on in my life. Next week, I am trying to finish up a box that expires on July 13th. So I have 2 pens in that box, so I'll do next week and then the following week, and then I'll switch back over and open up a new vial of compound trizepatide. If you're looking to start your GLP-1 weight loss journey, I'll give you some information about Mochi Health in a moment. Please excuse my neighbor's dog. Her name is Lucy. She just went out for her bathroom break, and she's a little loud today. Well, it kind of goes with the rest of my week. This has been one hell of a week. And not to say anything bad, it's just everything was out of the ordinary. As a school teacher, I started teaching summer school, which is actually the first time I've ever done it in 17 years. But I kind of embraced it and figured, okay, it'll just be a way for me to continue my regular routine and not get thrown off by summer break. So I packed my typical breakfast, my lunch. I did all the things I would normally do. Yes, I did all the things that I would normally do. However, I felt hungrier all week. I mean, hungrier all week. It was the weirdest thing. The second instance that occurred, which has nothing to do with GLP-1, but in a way it does. On the very first day of school, I'm not in my classroom. I'm in someone else's classroom. Little story time, y'all. I'm in someone else's classroom. I have 16 students that I'm helping to earn credit for classes that they did not pass during the typical school year. And as I'm helping a student, from the corner of my eye, I see something moving. Most of the time I would assume it's my hair. So I really didn't budge too much. But then I felt something on my arm. And when I looked over, it was a large, almost the size of this microphone, cockroach. I don't do cockroaches. And so I jumped up, took off running, started screaming. It was a whole to-do. But I tell you all this because I moved so quickly. And that is the one thing the kids kept saying. They were like, Miss, you move so fast, lightning speed. You were moving tail. You were running. I was. This is the new body frame that allows me to run. The previous body frame, I probably would have moved a lot slower. But I kid you not, in a blink of an eye, my arm was jerking and I was on the other side of the room. Now, in my class, I talk about phobias, and I tell the story of when I was a child and a cockroach got smushed on my leg. It's a whole ordeal. That's part of the reason why I have the issue I have right now. And 2 of my former students were in the room with me, not earning credit for my class, a different class. But when it happened, that's all they talked about all day. Like, oh my goodness, we got to see it actually happen. We got to see it happen. And we're in Texas, so they can't use their cell phones. But yeah, they were just talking about it. So by the time Wednesday hit, any of my former students who were in summer school, they had all heard the story of how the cockroach was on my arm. And in a blink of an eye, I was from one desk to the opposite side of the room. Yeah, I moved pretty quickly. That agility, as they say, it was on. That button had got pressed. I was on point. So that was a weird thing that happened. And like I said, all week I've been hungry. So as a turning point, I did not work out this week because typically when I go and strength train, I'm pretty hungry the following day. You know, it's kind of how the body works. And so I felt like I might be doing too much trying to fuel my body and meet the needs that my body's requesting. So I did not work out this week. It's the first time consistently in about 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 weeks that I have not worked out. So I'll pick it back up next week. I haven't stopped. I'm trying to give my body whatever the hell she needs. Because I was also supposed to start my menstrual cycle on Monday. And in case you didn't know, oftentimes when you're on a GLP-1 weight loss journey, especially tirzepatide, it alters your hormones, which can have an effect on your menstrual cycle. I usually have very heavy cycles, and since being on the medication a little over 2 years, I guess I'm in month 27, my cycle has lessened, like severely lessened. Well, this week, my cycle has me waiting. I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for her to arrive. Now, I'm not pregnant. It would be a case of a miracle. Call me Mary. So that's not an issue. It's just we think my hormones are doing whatever they want to do, and the cycle just hasn't started, which could have something to do with why I am so hungry. I haven't craved anything. I just want to eat. Now, you could also argue, well, it's the medication, Alonda, and it's wearing down as the week goes on. But this has been since Monday. Since Monday, which is technically the day I was supposed to start. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm also thirstier. And I can say that with all certainty because I have been drinking a lot of water. A lot of water. More water than what my doctors actually advised me to be drinking. And I say this because I get my lips. My lips are like chap, chap, chap. Actually, they're chapped right now, but I have the lipstick on. I'm trying to cover it. I didn't want y'all to see that. You know, cockroach girl, crazy looking lips, hair blowing in the wind, dog in a. I just didn't want y'all to have that vision of me. So, yeah, my lips are on special right now. And again, I'm just drinking, hydrating. So I'm not really sure what's going on with my body this week, but I did decide to just take a breather and let it do whatever it needed to do. And sometimes on these journeys, that's kind of what we have to do. We might be pushing them so much that they may hit like a breaking point. Like, enough is enough. And trust me, I can say that with certainty. Because I've been in a stall, I've been in a 9-month plateau. When my body said, girl, we've had enough, it's had enough. So, like I said, I'm giving it a break this week, but I'll pick back up to my normal routine next week. However, I did decide to do one thing next week just in case. I typically don't track my food. I will track my food if I feel like I'm kind of spiraling or if I don't feel like I'm fueling my body enough, which is actually how I started in a stall because I was in a severe calorie deficit. You know what? I'm going to say this real quick and I'm going to be frank with y'all. I'm 5'3". I started the journey at 264.7 pounds because I saw a photo of myself. Bad photo. Did not like the photo. And immediately when I got on the medication, my hunger was suppressed. And I thought that was a good thing. Okay, my hunger suppressed. Cool. But I was barely eating. And trust me, when you go from eating everything in sight to not eating a lot, it seems like a great thing. Like, yes, it's great. But when you go from eating like 3,500 calories to eating barely 900 calories, that's a concern. That's a big jump. That's a massive calorie deficit. Massive. And so I did have to notice that and pay attention to that. And yeah, in the beginning, the weight was still coming off. The medication was brand new to my body, so I did not see any issue with it because my body was still doing what it needed to do. But when it's been doing that for so long, you can start to have issues, which is how I got to my first stall. See, the light came through. It said, oh. And that's when I got into my first stall. My body basically said, we can't lose anything else because we don't trust that you're going to fuel us. And so I started increasing my calories. I mean, I did go from like 3,500, maybe even 3,800 calories a day to about 1,200. Because someone said 1,200, and I just said, oh, that sounds like a good number, especially since I can barely eat. So that was a lot for my body. Now I play in the range of 1,500 to 1,800 calories on the days when, like I said, the next day after I strength train, I'm pretty hungry. That's one of my 1,800 days. And I truly focus on protein. Like I am eating protein, not just protein shakes and not just protein bars, but I'm eating meat sources. I'm really, oh, that's the other thing. I'm really focused on the intentional eating when it comes to those days after I strength train. Another, what the hell is going on in my world, kind of goes to the food. So again, I want to make sure I'm not in a severe calorie deficit, and I want to play in between the numbers that are going to work best for my body. But I'm also taking Culturel. I take Culturel every single day, just like I take my multivitamin and my 2 blood pressure medications every single day. But I've been having BMs twice a day. Twice a day. That started on Wednesday. No, that was Tuesday because yesterday was Wednesday. So that was Tuesday. Monday, typical 1 day. I've been doing 1 day for a hot minute, y'all. Tuesday, I got up in the morning, had a BM, and then before I went to bed, I had a BM. So I took a shower in the morning, took a shower in the afternoon, and then yesterday morning, same thing happened. Shower in the morning, shower in the afternoon. And at first, I wasn't too worried because I thought, oh, my cycle's about to start. You know, ladies, you know, your body starts doing stuff, and you might have a unexpected BM. That's not on schedule, not on schedule. But then when the cycle didn't start, I was like, okay, we'll hang out and see what else happens. So today is Thursday, and I had another day of AM and PM BMs. Well, I just BM. That's a lot of information. Let's just say after I record this, I'm going straight to the shower. That's a lot of information. I may mark that out. But tomorrow morning is Friday. I do not have school. So we'll see. We'll see if the continuation of AM PMs hold true. But yeah, right now my body is like, what the hell? It I don't know. It's just doing its thing, and I'm just riding along with it. I am gonna go ahead and cut over to the injection because that's pretty much everything that's been going on this week. My body is lifing and doing whatever the hell she wants to do. All right, everyone. So it is time for my injection. Let me make sure that's still on. Yes, it is. I did go and get my little supply kit, and I went on and filled up my syringe because this girl has somewhere to be. Quick story, as I prep and decide where I'm going to give myself my injection, I think I'm going to do my thigh. But back in 2017, Houston had Hurricane Harvey come through. And I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you, so let me just make it very quick and easy. Co-parent and I built our dream home. The night before Hurricane Harvey, we did a walkthrough. We put the blue tape everywhere we felt like it needed to get touched up. And then overnight, Hurricane Harvey came through, and there was 3 feet of water into the house. Like, when I tell you the road flooded, I have a photo, and I don't think I have time. But one day I will show you the photo. Co-parent, who is 6'2.5", is walking down the street, and all you can see is his neck because that's how flooded the street is. Like, he's walking with his arms up, and all you can see is like this part of his body. When we went down to look at the house, we actually had to ride in a boat. So I say all that to say the house I was in did not flood, but we were going to have a tenant move in, and the house she was in did flood. So she was very quick to be like, hey, Alonda, can we move in? You know, she was renting that house, and the owner needed them to move out anyway so they could go ahead and do the remodel. And we were scheduled for her to move in a month later. So I made the decision to go ahead and move us into a corporate apartment, let her move in because she had kids and it was a whole ordeal, and our builder felt like it would be fine. Plus, the property, like the actual land, was mine. Like, I had purchased the land, and then the builder built on top of the land. So it wasn't like I could just walk away because it was my land. So long story short, we moved everything into a storage locker or a storage locker. And in that 5-week period of our items being in the storage locker, it was burglarized. So someone broke in, stole everything, passports, because I had a pretty good sized safe that we put in there. But they took that. I had my handheld gun in there because I didn't have a safe at the corporate apartment. Long story short, they took a lot of stuff. And as this week would be noted, I received this letter letting me know that 9 years later, they have found and recovered my yeah. So I now get to go pick up because it is Friday and it's one of the days where I don't have to work summer school. So I get to go down and get my stuff. Well, my gun. Unfortunately, my mom's jewelry, her heirlooms that she passed down to me, those were all taken and not recovered. I mean, I kid you not, for like 2 years, I searched pawn shops left and right in the area, trying to uncover any piece, a ring, a pair of earrings. Some of the jewelry came from my grandmother, who was gifted it from people she worked with. So yeah, that part of my family history is gone. But I get to go pick up my gun, which is so weird. So weird. Hopefully YouTube won't. I may have to edit that part. I may have to put a word over or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're living and learning. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and get this in. Put y'all right there. Oh, and what's scary? What's scary is that this has been a hell of a week, and tomorrow I am supposed to do the meet and greet. Hi, honey. Hi. I love how it just follows me. It's like a little kid. So I pray that nothing bad goes on with this meet and greet. No, I mean, it's just been a crazy little week. So I am going to do my thigh. Okay, now I got to make it stop. Okay. It's not trying to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do my thigh. Got my medication. And I remember somebody saying they do theirs standing up. I can't do that. I can't. I don't know. It's a whole mental thing. Yeah. So, and they say let it dry. Let it dry, let it dry. Can't hold it back anymore. All right. 1, 2, 3, and let's go in. Ooh, okay, maybe if I stop flexing my leg. Ooh, go in. Ooh, yo, it's kind of burnt. Hold on. I'm going to say we're not doing my thigh. That really does kind of burn. I know there's fat there. I know that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I am not going to put myself through some pain. And it's weird because normally it doesn't hurt, but it's a hell of a week. And now I need... Ooh, I need another wipey wipe. Hi. We are very close. Okay, got a new wipey wipe. No, it was this one. Okay. I did the other arm last time. I'm having to give my tummy a little break. A little breaky break. Whew, yeah. All right. Now we move up. Can I also tell you that it's 12:29 on Friday? And you know I released my video at 3. So, let's see how we can do this. 1, 2, 3. I can't see if I'm in. Nope, I'm not in. Now I'm in. Yeah, so, like I said, this week has just been so weird, so interesting. I have no words. I don't know. Was it a full moon this week? Anybody know? It wouldn't surprise me if it was. Is anybody having a weird week like I am? It is just such a weird week. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I do thank y'all so much for joining me this Friday and having fun. Oh, I feel the medicine. And I got on my little Ayuga skirt. That's what I'm gonna wear to the evidence locker room. I am gonna put my little white jacket on. I actually need a black jacket, to be honest. But I'm gonna put my little white jacket on, go down there and reclaim my property. All right, y'all. Y'all take care. Also, I know why I had 2 BMs every day this week. Because I was eating the hero bread. Just the 2 slices of sandwich and the 1 bagel is 43 grams of fiber per day. Yeah, I'll show you in the video. This week I was dedicated to the egg and cheese bagel. I used the Hero brand for the bagel as well as my sandwich bread. So basically I was bringing in about 30 grams of fiber in addition to eating the dragon fruit. So now I know why my body was working the way it was working. I then followed up my stack with the protein. Now when it comes to my drinks, I go all over the place right now. I haven't found my new addiction. I think I'm leaning to some of the Alani's. So these are the minis. I am also enjoying the flavored coconut water. But I think I'm going to go with my Tide and True, which is what I've been drinking lately. And that's the Alani Strawberry Sunrise. Yep, it's a staple. See you later.